You are trying
especially
to
the
hold
Gen
me.
Zs, especially the Gen Z's generation. You guys, when you guys are explaining yourselves, you explain in such a way that you wish the person is in your head.
Exactly, and sometimes in the point of communicating, we tend to be rude.
You tend to be very, very rude
Very,
because
very
once the
rude. And
person
you
is not
start shouting.
getting your standpoint, you are just like, as in, is this person this dumb?
You
Because you just want to believe that everybody should be as smart as you are and as intellectual.
And we forget that our parents are way behind us because
course,
they are still trying to keep up with
the age gap
this
is
with this generation and the technology and all that. Just find.
Hi everyone, you're welcome back to my channel and my podcast. If you are new here, you're welcome to the best podcast on the internet right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, so if you are new here, this is the Do Everything You Want They Need podcast. My name is DEYON Gandono. I am called and inspired to help young people find answers to some of life's toughest questions, and I do that by sharing my thoughts, my ideas, my insights, revelations, and rubbing minds with you guys on some of the topics and issues we face as young people in our everyday lives. So if you are new here, once again, you're welcome. Grab a seat and be prepared to be embedded in knowledge. Yeah. Wow. So I have somebody beautiful seated beside me today. I must tell you guys that this was not planned for. It was totally not planned for. Yeah. But I just jumped on the opportunity because I felt like it is going to, be a plus to this podcast. And I'll allow her to introduce herself in a bit. But I can say she's my sister. She's a friend turned sister. And she has been with us for the past how many days? I think close to 1 week now. And she has done a lot for us in the past 1 week, trust me. And when she came to say hello, but then Pineal fell sick and she has been babysitting her since then. So I'll give her the opportunity to introduce herself so you get to meet her in person. So over to you.
Hi guys, I am Dear Kolorilewa and I'm also known as Yomi Gandono.
So how did Yomi Gandono come to happen? How did it come to life?
Oh, they adopted me. By that
from which motherless home? Yay! So you've heard from the horse's mouth. Her name is Dear Kolorilewa. We call her,
Yomi.
the Iggy way of our family. Best in graduates kind of people. If you know, you know. All right. So you're welcome back to the Principles of Dreaming series. I started this series about 3 weeks ago, and it's been amazing. Trust me. It's been amazing by the afterthoughts, the feedback I've gotten from you guys. And since Yomi is around, I just felt like, let me have, it has always been me facing the camera, speaking the entire time. And I felt like if Yomi is around, why don't I rub minds with her on this topic and hear what she has to say? So I started this series about 3 weeks ago. And when I started, it was inspired by the video I made, The Cost of Our Dreams. And I'll link it up somewhere here so you can watch it. Then I decided to, focus more because that video actually opened me up to many challenges young people face on this journey of, dreaming and pursuing our purpose. And the feedbacks, questions I get in my DMs actually forced me to start this series. On the first edition, we started with the first principle, which is don't always ask for help, rather than look for ways you can inspire people to help you. And the second series, which was last week's series, which was last week's topic that focused on the principle of little by little. So on this edition, this one has no title really. We just want to speak, straight from our heart. I'll be asking her 1 or 2 questions, and I'll just want her perspective on this topic. So Yomi, Are you ready? Have you done this before?
No.
So technically, I am blowing Yomi. I am giving her a platform to blow, to become a superstar.
I'm going up in his career.
So you should say a big thank you. I'm not charging you for this. I'm doing you a lot of favor.
You should pay me honorary.
Guys, if you are looking for, what did you study again?
Chemistry.
She studied chemistry. Best graduating student, Olasu. I'm telling you. But Osha need distinction.
Disclaimer, please.
But Osha need distinction.
It's not called distinction in university. It's called first class.
Jesus Christ. Wow. Let's cut. All right, guys, don't worry. You know, when you want to help people and they do this to you publicly, well, let's just take it as part of, you know, the cost of chasing our dreams.
Okay.
So Yomi, I just want to speak to you.
Okay.
I just want to speak to you, and I'll ask you a question or maybe two questions, and I'll just want you to speak straight from your heart.
Okay.
You know, one of the reasons I started this podcast is to, like I said, to help young people find answers, because I know young people are struggling with a lot of things. Okay. See, this dreaming is another topic. It's one of the things we are struggling with as young people, but this is the emphasis for now. And I just want to speak to you and ask you this question: that, you know, what are those things you, or what is one of those things you can consider a challenge or a factor that prevents you from doing the things you really want to do, or that you have always wanted to do? Or have you at some point wanted to chase a particular dream or a goal or an objective, that something, you know, became the roadblock for that time, and you could not, for some reason, you know, get that thing done just because of that obstacle or that challenge? Do you have any experience?
Yes, I
Trust me,
do.
guys, this is a non-scripted podcast. This is, you know, us speaking to you straight from our heart. She doesn't know I was going to ask her this question. Even though I'd given her a hint, she didn't know this was going to be the question. So, guys, let's hear from you.
Okay.
So,
So yes, I do. I do have an experience. I would say, okay, let me use myself. Let me not just talk generally. So while I was in school, 100 level precisely, I went to my dad and I was like, oh, Daddy, I want to venture into tech and all these administrative roles and all that. And I was like, I don't understand. We sent you to school to go and read. What are you coming up with?
what year were you then? In school?
That was my age.
And what year or what level?
I was
Sorry.
100 level. I said so. Yeah,
Okay.
100 level, and it
So
was
you're
in
still
2080.
fresh.
Yes. So like, Iwela Nicoloka, what are you coming up with? And I was actually preparing for another jump because I picked medicine, and you know, life happened, and yeah.
Jammed you.
No, jam did
Lasso
exactly. Lasso happened.
They
Did
gave
not
you
like.
fishery instead of
No, they gave me chemistry.
chemistry. Oh, you
Yes.
mentioned. I know a friend that wanted to study agricultural engineering. If he ended up, you know, studying fishery and something. Okay, go back to your story.
Yeah, so I ended up studying chemistry. So when I was preparing for another jump, and the man was like, I don't understand. What are you? What is this? And I just said, okay. He got me a system, but it was like for schoolwork only.
Okay.
I was not able to venture into anything. But as at 300 level, that was like 2 years later, I started taking up administrative roles. I think as at that time, in my 200 level, I was already working for you as an assistant. And I was working for a few other
So
persons.
you can see how much I've invested into this girl.
God, I helped your life, really. Okay, so yeah, I had started working for him as an assistant, and I'd already taken up other roles, and I was working remotely even while I was in school. And you know, as at 300 level, I was able to, anytime I'm home, he's always like, what are you always doing on system? You don't even have time to like gist with us or tell us what's going on. So I was like, mo ń ṣiṣẹ́. He'll be like, mo ń ṣiṣẹ́, kí ló ń ṣe? African parents, some of them do. You get, you say, oh, no, shit. And I'm like, I'm working. So one day they had to like come closer, and I was showing them what I was doing and all that. And I'd already gone into email marketing. So they saw me, I was creating like a landing page, and I was sending out like bulk mails to an organization that I was working with. And the child said, well, you said no, Lele. I said, yes. Yeah. So they didn't really understand the point of working from home, and I can't blame them. They are used to the 9 to 5, or if you're not working, if you don't go out every day, you're not particularly working and all that. So I would say a factor that in that youth or young people these days is validation from parents. I wanted them to support me. I wanted the validation from them, and I was not getting it. Basically because they did not understand at that point that, oh, this was something I would love to do, and I was not going to let it hinder my education. But they felt, we sent you to school to go and read. What are you coming up with again?
This is the main camera. Because we've been looking at this other one the entire time. But don't worry, just continue.
God. Don't mind this one.
Okay, so they don't think you have Down syndrome. Kwele, kwele.
Okay, so I didn't get the validation and support I wanted from them. But as at 300 level, I was able to like communicate better. You know, I was a newbie. I entered school very early. I think I entered school even before my elder sister did. And I was very young. So I didn't know how to like properly communicate and make them see reasons
time.
exactly as to why I wanted
when
to.
you were still in school, before
Yes.
you had the opportunity to do that thing at home and get to explain to them.
Exactly.
You know, they found it very difficult to believe or to understand what you were
What I wanted
doing
to
while you were,
exactly.
you know, on the other end of the phone
Exactly.
until
Until
you
they
had that
saw it and I
opportunity
was
to-
able to communicate it properly and explain to them that, oh, this is this is that and all that. So if my parents are shouting tech bro Texas, they are not just saying because of they know, they understand fully what it means, what tech bro Texas means and what working from home means.
Hello, Mrs. Agwaji. Welcome to our podcast.
Podcast.
So, guys, my mommy just entered, but ignore her. All right, so
Yeah, so I think validation from parents and that support that, oh, you know, when you tell your parent this, you're expecting them to like take it with open hands. And that was something I found in a friend, his parents, what they did. Not him particularly, his younger brother. Till now, the guy is not in a university.
whoa.
At first, the guy said he said he wanted to drop out of secondary school as a GS3 after junior YEC. And the parents were like, fine, what do you want to do? He said he wanted to dance. I'm serious. And his parents, they are typical African parents. I know they would probably have their...
That reminds me. Do you know while I was in the babe, help us close that door. Thank you. Do you know while I was in the secondary school, while I was in the boarding house, I had a friend who committed suicide. He literally hung himself.
Jeez.
Yes, because he wanted to dance, but his dad wants him to study medicine.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So for you to say that as early as junior school,
Yeah, it dropped out,
parents,
literally.
you know, supported their child at that
Yes.
level, you know, it's kind of,
Yeah.
you know, unbelievable.
Wow. So he said he wanted to dance, and the dad said, okay. Though it was hard, it was a little bit hard for them to like understand. Oh,
Where it was coming from.
You just literally dropped out, and you're saying, "Mo fẹ́ jó." Oh, there's something mo fẹ́ lọ kọ́ṣẹ́, but something you get. So, but then he said he wanted to dance, and his parents said, okay. And through the dancing, he even made friends.
Okay.
He had good connections. And I think that was where he got the very first laptop that his brother used to start take. Because his brother
He
is
got his brother a tech,
a laptop.
gear to start tech.
Exactly.
Wow,
And now the brother is not even in Nigeria again.
That's-
He left before we even finished university.
That's beautiful. That's
Yes.
beautiful. So if let's summarize everything you've said, you know, so that people can get the gist of what we are trying to achieve, because the perspective you spoke from is actually very, very, you know, true, and many young people out there can relate with it. So the parental factor to dreaming, and I just wanted to recap as we wrap up. So and what would you advise people, you know, who are currently experiencing that, who are trying to do something that is contrary to what their parents have always wanted them to do, or maybe their parents even give them the freedom to do what they want to do, and still they are not still getting that validation and all of that.
support and
So
all
what,
that.
in your own opinion, what would you advise they do?
Okay. So I think, no, don't let me think. Let me say it as it should be. Like me now, I'll still use myself as an example.
Okay.
I think what I was able to do properly was make research.
Okay.
I asked loads and loads of questions from different people.
Okay.
And I had people also talk to my parents at some point. That was the very first time. So it was not my friend. That my friend, I said his younger brother got his first gear because we wanted to start tech together and all
nice.
that. So the guy called. It was even that even prompted my dad to get me the system. So he called my dad and explained this and that and that. My dad still got me the system.
Whoa.
But he still did not, because
He still wanted you to bag the distinction.
exactly. He was like, I want distinction. You're praying for jam. I want you to ace your jam, which I did. The second jam, which I did. But bringing is too much. It's too much. He even felt that at that time, preparing for jump and trying to like make a first class was too much for a young
So
person.
he actually spelled it out that he wanted you to make it first class, or it wasn't
It
compulsory,
wasn't. It
or it was the
wasn't.
family. I know your family. Actually, I know your family is a first class family. You
Okay, we
finished
are
in first
getting
class.
there. We're
Your
getting there.
sisters,
My elder
and I
sister,
know even Posi that is still in,
my younger sister is still in university.
I
She's
know
not done.
automatically, even Posi
Amen.
that is still in junior secondary school. I know him too.
It's
He,
not in, it's in primary
he
school.
will shall come out with first class. So if I pick anything from your story, I would think that I feel like you had a relationship with your parents that even when they had their expectations for you, gave them that freedom to trust you. Like when you mentioned that at the time you were working with me, you
Yeah.
were working, I wouldn't say for me, you were working with me, and I knew your dad.
Yeah.
I spoke to your dad and your mom on the phone. They knew
Yeah.
who I was. If you said you were going to Ikorodu, they would even give you tife. You understand? So
Yeah.
I felt like
Yes.
you built a kind of relationship
Relationship
with
with
them,
them.
and you always connected them with everybody that was a part of your life. So
Yes.
they didn't
Yes.
really found it difficult to support you. And I think another thing you said that I would also implore many young people out there who might be in a similar situation to do is that fine, you might be struggling to do the convincing over the phone. Why don't you look for an environment that would give you that freedom to show them what you are doing.
Exactly, and probably find someone with more experienced and older. You know, as a young person, we can do lots of foolish things. It's also when we grow, you'll be like, "Ta ló rán mi iṣẹ́ kí n lọ ṣe," you get. So you probably find someone. You find someone
Mama, are you
experienced.
going already? Okay, please.
You find someone who is more experienced and more mature.
Okay.
You know, we as young person, I already say we can be foolish. These things we would say, you know, as it is as it dey us now. Mo try láti sọ fún yín
And
pé you are trying
especially
to
the
hold
Gen
me.
Zs, especially the Gen Z's generation. You guys, when you guys are explaining yourselves, you explain in such a way that you wish the person is in your head.
Exactly, and sometimes in the point of
So,
communicating, we tend to be rude.
You tend to be very, very rude
Very,
because
very
once
rude,
the
and you
person is
start
not
shouting.
getting your standpoint, you are just like, as in, is this person this dumb?
You
Because you just want to
get
believe that everybody should be as smart as you are and as intellectual.
And we forget that our parents are way behind us because
of course,
they
the
are
gap,
still trying to keep up with
the age
this
gap is
exactly with
so.
this generation and the technology and all that.
Nice,
So
nice,
just
nice.
find someone that is more matured and experienced that
Nice.
would
Nice.
be able
So,
to do the
what
explaining.
would be your parting word for my family? What would you say? Or to any other young people, any other young person watching? Like, what would be your parting words to them? What would you want to say to them straight from your heart?
Okay, I think it will be our mantra: do everything you want in it.
Oh, come on. Hello, Soyeni. I will just kill you. If you had said anything other than that, no, this will be the end of your visit on this podcast. But because of what you did, I will bring you back. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys. I said, ladies and gentlemen. So, fam, I hope you guys. This might have sounded very, very, family-ish or very, very casual, but I hope you guys got something from it. So,
Yeah.
like Yomi said, until I see you same time next week, keep doing everything
You
you
want
one day need. And I hope.
to see you next time.
Bye. We love you.
Bye.
Take one, take two. Hi, everyone.
And your wife said it. That your voice is always loud.
No,
Kí ló
I
ṣẹlẹ̀?
was
Too
just
much.
trying to.
Ah,
All right, are you ready?
Okay. So which one are we doing first?
No, we'll just do the normal podcast. Then about Shaitan, you'll do the other one.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. You're welcome back to the DEYON podcast. If you are new here, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome to the. God, how many times do I get to do this? Okay.
Content creators, you try.
Okay. Hi, everyone. You're welcome back to my channel and my podcast. If you are new here, okay.
Make sure to subscribe, like,
Yeah.
and comment.